We turn up our noses at canned goods and discard leftovers without a second thought. We assume modern convenience indicates advanced culinary skill. Yet item 22 was a chemical reaction engineered from pure desperation. Item 15 transformed stale dietary scraps into high-value sustenance. Item 9 deployed a survival mechanism so effective it sustained entire southern community. These cooks did not just prepare food. They engineered survival from absolute scarcity. The historical record details 25 down-home southern meals that sustained an entire generation. Number 1. Fried chicken. During the 1800s, fried chicken was not a Sunday leisure meal. It functioned as a survival technique perfected by pure necessity. Scottish immigrants introduced basic frying method. However, enslaved African cooks transformed tough roosters into high-calorie perfection using multi-generational knowledge. The process required catching a bird at dawn and soaking the meat in buttermilk overnight. Cooks applied precious salt and available spices to maximize flavor. Mastering the crispiest chicken guaranteed significant social status within the local economy. Number 2. Ham hocks and butter beans. During the Great Depression and earlier decades, ham hocks were discarded butcher scraps. They consisted mostly of bone and gristle that affluent households refused to purchase. Southern cooks applied a methodology that rendered these throwaway cuts highly valuable. They browned the hock in a heavy iron pot, allowing the smoky, salty fat to render slowly. One single ham hock could feed 10 people. It required only beans, water, time, and regional technical knowledge. Number 3. Cracklins. When families slaughtered hogs each autumn, they wasted absolutely nothing. Discarding animal fat directly equated to winter starvation. By spring, the remaining fatty skin was cut into small squares and rendered in cast iron pots over roaring fires. Cracklins could be stored for months without any refrigeration. This made them the ideal trail food for travelers and field workers requiring portable protein. This was an edible preservation technology that secured year-round calorie availability. Number 4. Tomato gravy. During frequent economic downturns, Southern families required gravy without access to expensive meat drippings. They developed tomato gravy using homegrown produce, canned winter reserves, or cheap market surplus. The primary technique involved thickening the liquid smoothly without flour lump. This precise skill separated adequate cooks from regional experts. The resulting rich, tangy gravy converted plain biscuits into a heavy breakfast that provided physical energy until supper. Number 5. Salmon patties. When fresh meat became an unaffordable luxury, canned salmon served as an economic substitute that stretched tight budgets. Cooks mashed the pink salmon with fork tines, breaking down the calcium-rich bones. They mixed in yellow cornmeal to provide binding and texture. Served alongside buttered grits, one low-cost can fed a family of 6. This demonstrated that culinary success relied on the sheer determination to feed people efficiently rather than the purchase of expensive ingredients. When American populations migrated from the rural South to northern factory cities, they left behind extensive agricultural knowledge. They abandoned an entire ecosystem of oral survival technology. The concrete infrastructure of Chicago and Detroit offered no space for backyard kitchen gardens. There was no room for massive cast-iron kettles simmering over open flames all afternoon. During the rapid transition toward urban convenience, a profound generational disconnection took place. Society ceased eating directly from the earth and shifted dependence to the grocery aisle. The mechanical knowledge of extracting sustenance from scarcity rapidly faded into obscurity. Number 6. Liver and onions. Liver served as the default purchase when prime beef roasts remained economically impossible. The determining factor for this dish involved soaking thin-sliced beef liver in fresh milk for several hours. This chemical process neutralized the harsh, metallic taste that typically repelled younger eaters. Fried quickly at high temperatures, the organ meat became silky and iron-rich. Number 7. Macaroni and tomatoes. This dish functioned entirely outside of traditional Italian cuisine. It represented an immigrant pasta technique adapted to Southern taste profiles and harsh economic realities. Inexpensive elbow macaroni was boiled tender and combined with heated canned tomatoes. The mixture delivered essential carbohydrates and vegetables in perfect nutritional harmony. It filled stomachs without breaking strict family food budgets. Number 8. Okra and tomato stew. When July gardens yielded massive harvests, cooks engineered this high-volume dish. Sliced fresh okra pods released a natural mucilaginous thickening agent. Simmered slowly with ripe tomatoes, the reaction created a dense, creamy consistency. This stew stretched effortlessly to feed unexpected crowds at a cost of mere pennies per serving. Number 9. Sorghum syrup. Before refined white sugar became widely accessible, families boiled sorghum cane juice in large copper kettles. The reduction process required entire days of careful temperature management to prevent burning. During the American Civil War, when refined sugar supply lines collapsed, this complex amber syrup functioned as regional currency. It was traded at the exact same value as gold between neighboring farms. Number 10. Molasses bread. Mixed into a dense batter with yellow cornmeal and blackstrap molasses, this loaf baked slowly in wood-fired ovens. The resulting bread was incredibly dense and chewy. Because the molasses acted as a preservative, the bread lasted for days without spoiling. This chemical stability made it the optimal calorie source for sweating field workers and long-distance travelers. Number 11. Black-eyed peas. These legumes provided the ultimate agricultural insurance against sudden famine. The plants fixed nitrogen directly into depleted soil, while yielding a massive protein harvest. Agricultural communities consumed them year-round as a guaranteed defense against severe malnutrition. This historical dietary habit eventually proved to contain deep scientific validity. Number 12. Boiled peanuts. Modern consumers view snack food as a rapid convenience, but this regional staple demanded extensive preparation time. Fresh green peanuts were submerged in large pots of heavily salted water and boiled for several hours. The sodium brine slowly penetrated the porous shells, engineering a highly addictive flavor profile. Consumers cracked open the soft shells with their teeth to extract the salted liquid. This provided a communal food source for public gatherings that required zero utensils or plateware. Number 13. Buttered rutabagas. Rutabagas were categorized as the turnip of the working class. They grew cheaper, denser, and survived harsh winter conditions inside unheated root cellars. When fresh produce disappeared in January, these yellow-fleshed roots supplied critical vitamin. Cooks mashed them with heavy amounts of fresh butter to replicate the texture of high-end restaurant fare. This proved that correct mechanical preparation could elevate basic root vegetables into vital comfort food. Number 14. Brunswick stew. This recipe rejected the concept of individual cooking. Brunswick stew operated as a massive community resource pooling event. Neighbors contributed whatever assorted meat and vegetables they possessed. The combined ingredients simmered for hours inside massive iron kettles. Workers stirred the heavy mixture with long wooden paddles until the cellular structure of the vegetables broke down naturally. One successful kettle could provide a hot meal for half the surrounding county. Number 15. Chocolate biscuit pudding. Stale biscuits presented an economic problem with a highly effective culinary solution. Discarding old bread was considered a massive operational failure in a working kitchen. Instead, cooks layered the dried remnants in a baking dish and saturated them with a liquid custard. They mixed milk, eggs, sugar, and expensive cocoa powder to rehydrate the starch. This chemical reaction transformed stale bread into a dense, high-calorie dessert. It disguised absolute financial thrift as an intentional luxury. Number 16. Tumble cabbage. Cooks stretched a single head of cabbage to feed an entire household using only rendered bacon grease or pork fatback. They chopped the vegetable into irregular pieces and applied direct heat just long enough to wilt the leaves. The rapid cooking time preserved the bright color and cellular crunch. Served alongside dense cornbread, this preparation delivered critical nutrients at almost zero cost. Number 17. Buttermilk pie. The butter churning process left behind large volumes of excess buttermilk. Discarding this acidic byproduct violated the core principles of agricultural economics. Instead, the tangy liquid functioned as the chemical base for a dense, stable dessert. The acidity cleansed the palate after the consumption of heavy, fat-laden meals. Number 18. Canned mackerel loaf. During federal rationing periods, canned mackerel supplied the most affordable animal protein available. Cooks stretched the fish by mixing it with dry breadcrumbs and beaten eggs for structural integrity. Baked into a loaf shape, the exterior caramelized into a golden brown crust. It's sliced with the exact same structural stability as an expensive beef roast. This technique proved that mechanical manipulation could elevate canned goods into a primary dinner centerpiece. Number 19. Meat pie. These units operated as substantial, enclosed meals wrapped in a thick, lard-based pastry. The high-fat content of the crust provided extreme physical durability. Coal miners and traveling salesmen consumed them without utensils, in dark shafts or on dusty roads. The pastry acted as both a caloric source and a protective physical container. The loss of these recipes extends far beyond nostalgia. The convenience food revolution fundamentally erased domestic, chemical, and mechanical intelligence. Society traded deep, methodical food preparation for the illusion of automated speed. Corporations marketed the act of peeling plastic film from a frozen tray as social progress. However, the mid-century homemaker operated as a practical scientist. She understood the molecular transformation of raw ingredients through heat and time. She knew exactly how to extract every available calorie from a hostile economic environment. This technical knowledge vanished because the processed food industry required a population of dependent consumers. Number 20. Chicken and slippery dumplings. When poultry supplies dropped to dangerous levels, this dish provided a mathematical solution. Cooks dropped paper-thin egg noodle dough directly into boiling chicken broth. The slick dumplings absorbed the golden liquid and expanded to 3 times their original physical mass. This thermal expansion tricked the stomach into feeling entirely full. Number 21. Corn chowder. Long before modern restaurants commodified the recipe, this thick soup functioned as a harvest calorie reserve. The physical preparation required intense manual labor. Cooks cut dense field corn from the cobs and manually scraped the remaining starch milk using the back of a steel knife. The resulting chowder boiled down to a thickness that could stand a spoon upright. Each serving concentrated the total caloric output of an American agricultural harvest. Number 22. Wacky cake. Engineered during the darkest economic collapse of the Great Depression, this recipe defied standard baking chemistry. The formula required 0 eggs, 0 butter, and 0 milk. Instead, cooks mixed harsh white vinegar with baking soda directly inside the metal pan. The resulting carbon dioxide reaction provided perfect cellular lift and crumb structure. It was a scientific workaround born from total economic desperation. Number 23. Boiled dinner, New England style. In the Northeast, this single-vessel cooking method transformed tough, heavily salted meat cuts into tender protein. By simmering all vegetables and meat in one pot, households conserved massive amounts of heating fuel. This operational efficiency saved exhausting physical labor during sub-zero winters. Number 24. Dandelion green. Before commercial supply chains delivered winter produce, rural populations foraged these bitter wild leaves. Harvesting occurred continuously from early spring through late autumn. The weeds functioned as vital botanical medicine gathered directly from the soil. The high ascorbic acid content prevented scurvy and stabilized severe nutritional deficits. Number 25. Poor man's feast. Despite the bleak terminology, this layered casserole represented profound economic optimism. Cooks constructed alternating layers of sliced root potatoes, leftover protein scraps, and canned vegetables. They sealed the structure with a simple flour and milk sauce. The baking process fused the random scraps into a unified, high-density meal. It manufactured the physical illusion of abundance out of absolute, mathematically verifiable scarcity. Analyzing these forgotten methods reveals the resilient infrastructure of the American working class. Modern economics measures wealth by the volume of goods a household can afford to discard. Historical richness was measured by the technical ability to manufacture caloric survival from nothing. These women did not merely stretch financial currency, they engineered human dignity. Every slow-simmered pot and layered dish functioned as an operational declaration of survival. It was the mechanism through which a generation guaranteed the physical continuation of their families.